I think you're not familiar with this case. The murder that occurred some time ago. Mr. Jackson is charged in this case. He's been incarcerated now 1,072 days today. And as the court knows, this case is on appeal. It's coming forward in an oral argument this next Friday, I believe, on this case. And I'm not sure when Frank will be ruling on it at this point. Mr. Jackson has no bond. Hasn't had a bond. He's been incarcerated since 2012. He was arrested October 31st, 2012. He was indicted, as the court may know, on the 9th day after his arrest. He's been here. He believes that he got out, or he got a bond, or some kind of bond. He might be able to get his job back at YKK. His family's all here. I believe the court's seen them here before. They all support him. He would be here. He has a wife. He's had 5 children. They're 18, 17, 15, 14, and 11. He's missed almost 3 years of their life. Some of them are in the process of going to college now. He's willing to agree with any condition here on the monitor or curfew, house arrest, whatever, certainly no contact with witnesses. But we would ask for bond be set in this matter, Your Honor. We don't know exactly at this point when it's going to go to trial, so we don't know when the Supreme Court's going to rule on the pending appeal. And certain parts of the evidence, I mean, Mr. Finney had a considerable amount more evidence against him, but the evidence against Mr. Jackson involves a couple of federal inmates whose video statements are somewhat, at least in my opinion, suspect by the way they're done, with the way they talk. There's a Jeffrey Harris that was involved in this. He was interviewed at one point, and they found his fingerprints on a plastic bag that contained a murder weapon, but they let him go. They found a murder weapon. In this case, it was used in 2010. It was used again. They arrested A.J. Stanley. I believe they let him go. So nothing that Mr. Jackson had, no AR-15, nothing that he has been linked back to this except through these 2 federal inmates who made statements. And there's some, as the court knows, there's some recordings that talk about the AR-15, but it's not the AR-15 that was alleged to be involved in this murder. Based upon all this, Your Honor, and the amount of time that it may be before we get to a trial, we ask the court to set a reasonable bond, Mr. Jackson.
Honor, there is, the oral argument is before the Supreme Court next Friday. We anticipate that they will rule shortly thereafter. The state will take that ruling and we'll be prepared for trial. We would think by January of this year, of this coming year. So within two to 3 months, Mr. Marlon Jackson will be ready for trial. Your Honor, we were ready back in, I think it was December or around December of last year for the trial, and that's when the defense, Mr. Finney's counsel, in a motion to suppress, brought up this issue regarding the wiretap, and then the court granted a certificate of immediate review. Your Honor, the state would oppose giving Marlon Jackson a bond at this point in time. We recently have gotten information while Mr. Jackson has been incarcerated here at the Bibb LEC that he was in possession of a contraband cell phone. Once we got information into that and did an investigation, we went up on basically a wire and have recorded his contraband cell phone conversations. And we will shortly make a copy of that and give it to his counsel. But what that shows is that Mr. Jackson is not going to abide by any rules or regulations. He can't even do that inside the jail. And I do believe there's information on the contraband cell phone about the firearms he's talking about in this particular case. So he's using a contraband cell phone to try to contact witnesses or people that might be involved in this case. And the state has a very warranted fear that if he is released and the trial is looming in the near future, that he would be susceptible to being able to intimidate witnesses that are out on the street that he can't if he's sitting in this jail cell. So it's not like it's going to be another year from now. We anticipate being ready in January.